Hey everyone, Happy New Year. Welcome to Real Estate Tips and Tricks. I'm Angela Fazio. Right next to me is my beautiful co-host, Sam Staskal, and we have an unbelievable guest today to talk about open houses. Cassandra Mueller, welcome to Real Estate Tips and Tricks. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Well, we're excited. Now, I got to tell you, you know this, Cassandra, but when I started in real estate 21 years ago, so long ago, one of my favorite and most successful prospecting methods was open house. In fact, the years that my husband and I sold 12 million, 17.5 million, and 22 million, 1/3 of our business came directly from open houses. And by the time we sold 40 million the next year, that was a result of all three of those years of doing massive emphasis on open houses. So I am so excited because you too have had amazing success with open houses. So I can't wait to hear your tips.
Yes, no, I mean, a similar story, right? In 2018, my husband and I had absolutely zero income coming in, and I had my real estate license. So it was one of those things like, I'm calling my sphere of influence and getting some of those deals, but how can I take my business to the next level? And open houses, I just started doing them Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you can sit at home, if you can sit in an office, you can sit at a house. So basically, I just took everything to houses and sat there all day, every day. And it really skyrocketed my business. And it's something that I implement with my team now, that's where they need to be hanging out too.
Yeah. I cannot even agree more.
So in this market, the way it is right now, are you still doing a lot of open houses?
Yes, actually, in between Christmas and New Year's, we were at an open house, and I will tell you, they weren't as busy as I would like to see them. But again, I'm still going there with the mindset of I'm working, I have things to do. If people aren't coming in the door, I'm usually trying to do social media stuff or filming reels, videos, stuff that I can post, and make sure one of my good tricks, which one of my new teammates just learned, is bring something to eat. As soon as you take that out of the fridge and put it in front of you and go to take your food,
people will come in.
somebody walks right in the front door. I'm not kidding. It worked like a charm. And it's all a numbers game. So even if, we get 30 people in the door that weekend, one of them is going to be a buyer or seller in the next 6 months. So just about making those connections. And I think a lot of agents go, I don't like open houses, but for me, it's like, I don't understand. It's free. It's literally free business. They're walking into you. So, this weekend we'll be doing open houses. This past weekend, I wasn't feeling too hot, so I decided to stay at home. But usually I have myself and my team in 2 different locations. And again, just doing the numbers game, just write down how many people you see and get all the information from everyone. So even with, during, I would say 2020, we definitely took a step back from open houses. But now that everybody's kind of out and about again, I'm like, let's hit it hard.
So you mentioned getting everybody's information. How do you go about, because this is something I struggle with. I do open houses, but I struggle to get people's information.
It's so hard. So
Yeah.
I have a good list of like Angela's, the tips and the tricks, right? So one of my main things that I think a lot of agents don't do, because obviously I'm out there showing houses that are being held open, right? Is I take my laptop. Key number one. A lot of people I see don't have that. 2 days before I'm doing an open house, I do a custom home search for that area. So I'm looking at what's pending, what's closed, what's under contract, what's active, basically kind of stuff you would make the market analysis, right? If you were going on a listing appointment. And the reason I do this is then I comb through and I say, well, if they don't like the house I'm sitting open, what else are they going to look for, right? For example, the one I just did didn't have a pool. A couple walks in, they're like, oh, wish it had a pool. I'm like, come right over here. Let me show you. There's one in this neighborhood, 2 blocks north of us with a pool. Would you like to see it? I'm done here at 2. And they were like, yeah. Boom, information given, because now they're calling me. Hey, Cassandra, are we still meeting at 2? Yeah, definitely. Clients, cash buyers, 700,000. I sat there for 2 hours. I mean, you can't make money like that in any other business, I don't think, right?
Right.
So I do a couple different things to get information. That's one of them. I have a search ready to rock and roll. So most people are going to say it's not the house from them. They don't want to be bugged, right? So I say, well, what house is for you? Because I have a whole list I could send you right now, no strings attached. And most people are like, really? I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's just a search. It takes 2 minutes to put together. It's not a secret, right? The only secret is that you have to be an agent to have the MLS. So, but you can use me. I tell them, use and abuse me. Like, let me help you find that dream home. So I do that, which helps get people's contact information right then and there, their email, which is our most important. And then I also started doing comment cards on the property. Instead of doing a sign-in sheet, we have these little cards, and it kind of asks questions. What do you think of the exterior, the interior, the kitchen? Do you see any things that need to be updated? And it's great for sellers too, right? Because I can say, hey, here's what the public is saying about your house. But it also helps me strike that conversation. Like, oh, you do want a pool, or you hate this kitchen because it's white. Then I can say, well, here's a kitchen 2 blocks west of here. That's espresso, same floor plan. Boom, I'll show you it too. Same thing. So just kind of, I always tell my team, building the trust is the number one thing. If you can't get them to trust you, and you're the person that knows everything about the neighborhood, even if you don't, you better know the year it was built, the HOA, how old the air conditioning unit is in Arizona. And I think those are going to set you really high above some of the other people that they're popping in and out of their open houses all weekend.
One of the things we used to do is we used to have items of value that we only had one of. Like, for example, in Arizona, we have this, you can get this free brochure called Bites and Stings. And it's like the picture of all the poisonous everything. Yeah. And it's like really informative, but it's like eye-catching because it's got scorpions and stuff like that. Right. And so I'd be like, I would love to get you a copy of this. This is my last one. Give me your information. I'll be glad to send it to you. Or I can email it to you or whatever. And then I used to also, one of the best tips about any type of prospecting that I can give people out there is, don't just look for buyers and sellers. Look for people who don't have a relationship with a real estate agent and ask to get them on your database. Basically, can I keep in touch with you in a meaningful way so that when you are looking to buy or sell, when you know someone looking to buy or sell, you'll know me well enough to refer me. And so I'll try to get their information as a possible future client so that I can start to keep in touch with them. And then another item of value is like a vendor list. Hey, I have this, do you you can use me to find out about reputable vendors. I have a great vendor list. I can't give you this one. It's my last one, but I can send it to you, or you can call me, hi, Rachel. So, you can call me. She's a past guest of Real Estate Tips and Tricks. She's famous. So anyway, if you have items of value, but you don't have 75 of them, just have one. If they want it, then they'll give you their information.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, that's it. It's all about what you can give them, and making sure that, obviously they're buying or selling a house. They're in an open house. So it's just like going to a car dealership, right? You're not there because you want to, you're usually buying. I don't go there for fun ever. Why would I go to a car dealer, right? They're just like,
that sounds terrible. You're right.
And it's like, it's like so hot here. Why would you ever go? During the summer, it's like standing in a parking lot is my worst nightmare. So, if they're coming to an open house in May or June, they are buying a house. Like, you have to get their information. People just don't go do that stuff for fun. Handing something out is perfect. I usually like to bring some sort of Popeye. I'm really big into Popeyes. All of my clients in sphere of influence, friends, family get Popeyes every month from me. So I'll bring some to the open house as well. And that's just something cute. And it goes in their car, their kids take it, whatever, but it has my card. And people just, they remember all of that stuff. So like Angela was saying, just something to give them.
One of the things that, Cassandra, I'm sure that you know, but Sam, you probably know this as well, is that most agents are terrible at open houses. So just the fact that you are friendly, that you say hello, that you start conversation, there's a, what brings you by today? Are you looking for a home, or you just love to look at houses? Like just those really inviting, open-ended questions that aren't yes or no answers. Like that, if you ask good open-ended questions, you have to think to yourself, they're going to try to blow you off 2 or 3 times before they engage with you. So be ready with some good open-ended questions and just appear friendly. I mean, just being friendly, and asking good questions and having expression will set you apart from most of the other real estate agents out there.
Yeah. So, like in my area, I'm pretty rural. Angela knows. Open houses are not real successful here, that a lot of agents quit doing them long ago, because I'm lucky if I have 2. Sometimes I have no people show up. So it's a struggle just to get people to come.
I have an idea.
The market's completely different. You're talking about having 30 people come through an open house. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, we have a lot. Sometimes, one day we had like 50 different people come through. That's like an awesome day. You're going home like, yes, like,
yeah.
Angela, what's your tip?
There's a couple of things that, first of all, we almost always, if we had time, we would door knock in conjunction with open house. So we would, and I don't know if it's like this around you, Sam, but around us, you could door knock for 3 hours and hit a neighborhood, right? And with an invitation to an open house with call to action on your marketing material, just letting people have a heads up, because sometimes that then if they're really looking or they know people who are looking, it gives them time to say, okay, I'll make myself available, or I'll call my friend because I want my friend to live in my neighborhood or whatever. And so you can use door knocking as a prospecting method with that as your hook. As long as you say, hey, I promised the seller that I'd tell all the neighbors about the open house that's happening this Saturday. By the way, are you looking to buy or sell? Do you know anyone looking to buy or sell? You have that real estate conversation. And then the other really interesting thing that I thought, people love free stuff. And one of the things is I know some realtors have tried raffles. Now, you would never do that in our market when it's hot and you've got 20 or 30 people coming through. That's silly, unless you wanted to use it to capture information, right? But we used to have an open house box, and we would have, especially if you have a team, this is a great idea for a team, have a giveaway, something that's a vendor helps purchase for you. Maybe it's iPad is probably extravagant, but something that people will be like, I want that, I want that. Yeah. Even if it's a gift card to a restaurant or, or to the movies. And so you say in your advertising, and when you're door knocking and when you're sending out information or voicemail drops or whatever to the neighborhoods, you're saying, hey, for the whole month of June, we're having a raffle. And every time you go and you get into one of our open houses, you can put an entry into the raffle to win this restaurant card or, something like that. And believe it or not, some people will go out of their way to go and visit you. And it doesn't really matter if they are not a buyer or seller today, because then again, you can get them into your center of influence.
I just need a chance to win them over with my awesome personality is all.
Absolutely, so. Sam.
With awesome personality and a gift card.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, I've always done open houses, and you talk about eating, and that's how people come. Lay down on the carpet. They will come and scare the crap out of you, or climb into their bathtub. It never fails.
Oh,
wait a minute.
I'll make a video of me sitting in their bathtub, fully clothed. Please be fully clothed. I did a Facebook Live from an open house one time, and nobody was coming. So I got into they had one of those sitting showers. I don't know what you call them. Usually older people have them. So I got into it. And I'm like, wow, this is actually really comfy. And this guy walked in and he was standing there, and I'm like, oh.
You're like, would you like to try?
I just want to try it.
No, door knocking is great. I used to do it a lot too. Go to the neighborhoods, like you were saying, Angela, and just invite the neighbors, because if it's a brand new listing, the neighbors are going to show up anyways. They always want to peek in, right? Like, what did they do? Did they tear that wall down? What color? I saw construction going on here 2 years ago.
They know
Like,
everything.
and here's what I do. I always say, oh, which house do you live in? I take their information down. I make a little note of it. Hey, John and Sarah live in this corner cul-de-sac house, and I send them a thank you card. And I write those thank you cards while I'm sitting at the open house if there's nobody there. Thanks for coming by. It was a pleasure meeting you. You know, I'll let you know when you can peek in on another neighbor's house when I get another listing. Something fun, you know what I mean? Like just something saying, hey, everybody does it. You're not the only one. I meet so many neighbors. And again, if they're not buying or selling now, they're buying or selling in the future, and business in 2025, I'll take it. I need it then too, right?
Yes.
So
I love that. Do you have any other tips that you want to share with our audience?
A couple of things I like to do that I feel like are top secret is I am pretty particular when it comes to open house. I usually try to only sit, if they're not my listings or the team listings, I will reach out to other EXP agents and I will ask them if I can hold their properties open. Obviously, vacant, in my opinion, is best because then I kind of work my own hours there. But I do ones that only have usually about 5 turns at the very most. I will not set a house open, whether it's my listing or somebody else's, that I have to have 400 signs for. Because I want the neighborhood traffic, the elementary school traffic. I want people to be able to find it. So that's important. I also usually only do houses that have been on the market 10 days or less, because in my opinion, at that point, especially in Arizona right now, if it's been on for over 10 days, it could possibly need some sort of price adjustment. Or I'll have a conversation with an agent and say, hey, I'll hold your house open. Are you thinking of doing a price adjustment? Because I would like it done before I'm sitting here, just to help draw more traffic in. And agents, everybody understands that because we're all in the same boat. So I'm pretty particular when it comes to that stuff. And obviously, like I said, laptop, make sure you're doing your homework. Don't sit at an open house. The first question is going to be, what years was this bill? What's the HOA? If you don't have those answers, they are not going to give you their information because you don't know what you're doing. And that's the number one. And honestly, I see it all of the time. I will walk in and I will quiz people sitting doing open houses. What's the HOA? They're like, I don't know. And I don't even have the house pulled up. And I'm like, so you just, if you're that couple of steps above the next person they're going to see, or the people they just met at another open house, they're going to go with you. Hands down. Doesn't matter. As long as you have the knowledge.
I used to tell real estate agents, if you want a confidence booster before you do your first open house, or if you don't feel really confident about doing open houses, all you have to do is spend a Saturday or a Sunday going from one open house to the next, acting like a buyer, and see how horribly real estate agents conduct open houses, and you will feel like amazing, or you'll at least know what not to do when you start.
So true.
When you do your open house.
I mean, it's the truth, you could go, it's just like if you're, same thing, going back to a car dealership, go around the one you buy the car from. I mean, there's a reason, right? Because there's 1,000 Honda dealerships in every state, right? So there's a reason you pick one, and then there's a reason you filter it down and you go with a certain person. And that's, it's the same thing, right? I mean, either, pushiness or just being able to capture information, start a conversation. That is huge. I mean, sometimes my new agents just sit there like a deer in headlights. And I'm like, who cares if they, listen, when they walk into that house, they're not your friend. If they leave not your friend, you didn't really lose anything. We're trying to just win them over and gain just one. You just need one, right? You just need one to put in your sphere. And then from there, the statistics show you're going to make $56,000 in commission off of them. Plus, if you're good at what you do, you're going to get their friends, their family, their coworkers. So again, it's just getting that, one contact. That's all I ask them to do. I'm like, just give me one name and I will show you how to work it.
Yep. And I want to encourage agents who are listening on a couple of fronts. First of all, put some perspective, because we get this question all the time. What days should we sit open houses? How long should we sit open houses? The answer is yes. That's the answer. So if you put it in perspective, if you had a full-time job and you spent 40 hours a week at a job, let's make that comparison. Let's say you spent 40 hours a week sitting in an open house, and all month long, all you got was one client that closed on a house. In our area, our average sales price is, in the $400,000 range, right? Let's say it's 400,000, then you stand to make 3% of 400,000 in 1 month. That's a darn good salary. And that's if you sat 40 hours of an open house. So you guys need to gain perspective and don't be weenies. And the second thing that I'm going to say is, if you are out there and you're struggling as a real estate agent, you shouldn't have to. There are so many people who can pour into you and help you. All three of us on this call are invested in agents. So don't spend your career struggling out there and not knowing what you're doing. There are people who can give you the roadmap, the blueprint, and tell you how to be successful in this business. It's not rocket science. It's just hard work. And we can tell you how to do it. Right?
Yes, no. And I think having that mindset, like you said, anybody wants to reach out, if anybody wants to come do one with me or whatever it is, I am happy to do it, because it's just, it's that mindset just filters into everything you do, work, family, relationships. So
Cassandra, what was your volume last year?
10.3. Actually, it was my best year. And I also now have a team of 7 agents, because remember, I'm not letting Greg leave here today. So as of, I think, August of 2021, and they've already done like 6 million or so. So we're shooting for the stars this year for sure.
And you guys out there can too. So be encouraged. We know what we're doing. You can too. Thank you, Cassandra, so much for your tips today.
Yes, thanks for
Sam.
me. Nice meeting you, Sam.
You too.
Sam, nice to see you in this happy new year. And God bless all of you people out there. Let's do some business.
All right.